always nice, always fun to have everybody's beautiful faces. And I love these hearts. I love how they're all of a sudden coming up. And everybody knows I love the hearts. The hearts are my thing. I can't help it. Thank you. You're so sweet. Hearts are seriously the most wonderful thing. But before I begin anything, do you mind if I, first of all, scan you and then walk up to the creator of all that is? Oh, you all have such great hearts. Ah. All right, let's walk up to the creator of all that is. Everybody close your eyes, take a deep breath in and gather all the energy from the bottoms of your feet. Go through your space and see yourself in a beautiful ball of light. It could be any color, but take it up through the sky and the universe. A series of white lights, dark lights, and golden light. All the way up through that jelly-like substance and into that tingly white light. Let unconditional love fill every cell of your body, all the way down to your toes. While you're there, say, Creator, thank you for my life. Take a deep breath in and open your eyes. And as Gaia said today, we get to talk about alignment. And today I actually posted about alignment because I thought it was so important to actually have it not only relate to what I was going to talk about, but also because it's that important. I've really struggled not only with this topic for majority of my life, but it has been something that I have wanted to achieve forever. And I finally believe that I actually have had the chance to achieve it, but it took some time for me to really not try to control every aspect of everything that I did in order to make sure that I was in alignment. I didn't realize it was not so controlling about it, because growing up in my household, I think that the biggest part is that my family wanted to have, let's say we would do anything. We would go on a vacation and it would be like, let's have everything mapped out every hour, every second of the day to make sure that we're, getting everything taken care of that we want to see, that we want to do, that forever. Every time we would do anything, let's say we would go do our day, our week, we would sit down and have these meetings where we would have everything mapped out and controlled to the very last second, from the time that you woke up to the time that you went to bed. And I thought that was the way that it was supposed to be, not where you were really allowing life to go in a sort of a rhythm and a flow. And it really was so different than what I recognized on paper, making choices, something that felt more right than looked right. And everything I would do was from like this lens of these old patterns and beliefs and fears and what others thought was, I'm proud of you, or things that would keep the peace or refrain from being too much. And I think that was some of the things that I was really that I struggled with, was those patterns that I was trying to avoid, rather than recognizing this is my rhythm. It's okay to relax. It's okay to go into those rhythms without having it make sense to other people. And there's where it becomes your own understanding of alignment. As long as it makes sense to you, that's all that really matters. And it feels right. Because when you're in alignment, everything feels right. You start to see the synchronicities. Things start to really fit into the way that works for you. And really getting into that using theta healing and the algorithm view, and the combination really just allows you to recognize basically the pressures that are around you that are making it so that you are unable to deal with the things that are happening in your life, like patterns, things that aren't working with you, beliefs, that things that are basically pulling you out of any alignment and outcomes that you're wanting to have, that ensures you that these changes that you're making on these belief levels are sticking. And in order for you to continue to recognize that you're in alignment, that flow and relaxation has to be in sync. And when you start recognizing things like emotional patterns and routines, for instance, like let's say that you woke up this morning. How many of you like to wake up in the morning? Okay, I half the time like to wake up in the morning and really just love it. I see some of you are like, yeah. Some people love to get up in the morning and they're like, I love it. I'm great. I have a great attitude. My emotions are like joy. And then other people are like, I don't really love it. Some people like to push the snooze. It's great. And they've learned their rhythm and routine as to how they can get up and make it feel like they're happy when they wake out of bed. But that is a purpose and a way that they've trained their muscle memory in the way of habits to really make it work for them. If that's something that resonates with you and that's the way that you like to wake up every morning, and it's not just something that you're just having to be pulled out of bed because your alarm woke up and you're like, oh gosh, I have to go do this, I have to, then that's something that you're anchoring in every single day. And that simple one thing of waking up in the morning can make all the difference as to the way that not only your day goes, but it can also make the pattern of what is happening on every single level of the way that you're working with things that align with yourself. You're anchoring in every single thing that happens within you as a person. If you don't like that pattern of the way that you wake up in the morning and you're still doing it the same way every single day, you're anchoring in that pattern with yourself saying, oh, I guess I'm just going to keep doing this over and over and over again. So if you want to wake up with joy, consciously and subconsciously, obviously you can change it on a belief level, is something that we work with. I have this volunteer job here. I'm here in Hawaii. I'm sure you can see this beautiful whale behind me. I'm here in Hawaii, and I have this volunteer job that I go and do on Poipu Beach. I'm on the island of Kauai. And I go and I take care of these beautiful green turtles. And they are the most beautiful turtles, and they come up on the beach every single night. If you haven't been here, this is the place to come. It's so amazing. It's just magical. And I'm sure you've seen some of the pictures I've posted, but usually I have to sign up for it, and it's something I do. And usually it's maybe 1 or 2 people that come. We work maybe 200 people that come around from all over the world to come see these turtles. It's very magical. This particular night happened to be that a director came from Oahu, and it happened to be that I didn't really recognize her or knew who she was or anything, but we did not get along. We almost had like some sort of conflict within each other, but I just kind of pushed it past, not really recognizing anything because I was so busy talking to people and really just kind of delving into the essence of the location and the turtles. Well, by the time that I had really come to recognize that there was some conflict, it was almost too late. And by the end of the night, I was able to recognize within my own cells that I needed to change some things that needed to flow differently with her in order to be able to recognize that we could be in sync with each other. I realized that she had some patterns that had basically synced in a different way with me than it did with her. And had I just changed just a little teeny tweak of the way that I did things in my way and keeping myself in my own alignment in a different way than what allowed to shrink in my past when someone had acted in this sort of manner, then it was all going to flow in a better, advantageous way for everybody, in a way of grace, in a way of, rather than having it control the situation, trying to make it like I had done in the past with my family, to make it so that I didn't have things go in a way that was in a manner that I had to react. Instead, I responded with love. And it ended up, we ended up being really great friends. And by the end of the night, we ended up hugging each other and we got each other's phone number, and it ended up working really great. But I had to really notice those things. And sometimes when we don't notice that because we're so busy doing and running around and allowing things just to pass us by, we aren't really recognizing the things that are going on, maybe the thoughts that are happening, or even our body. And sometimes our body can recognize those things that are going on before we even notice consciously what's happening. And without controlling our day or outcome, we can step into our awareness. And really, awareness is the essential part of alignment. Because had I been more aware, I really would have recognized that this person had some things that were going on within her. And because we're so intuitive, we could pick up on the things that are going on and be able to honor the people that are around us much better in a way that they need to be heard, felt, seen, rather than just ourselves. And in that situation, that was something that she needed, rather than my past situations where I would shrink or drowned in the feelings that she was projecting on to the situation, and just be in my presence. And I think that owning that situation in that sort of way really caused it to be in a more gracious, advantageous way, rather than reacting to any triggers that had, come from the past, and really feeling whole and more equipped to be flexible in the approach of responding in a way that acknowledged everything that was better. But when we are able to change our beliefs and those structures and really those building blocks that we hold in place, we begin to see how our thoughts, our actions, and basically our emotions and our nervous system, they can all be in tune together. And every person that we meet, every emotion that we feel, and every time that we reflect on the things, like, our emotions give us clues that are basically into everything that we're doing. They're either for us or they're against us. And if we don't have the emotion that we really want that's working for us, I think that's where we can take a step back and learn how to respond, rather than to react in a way that makes it so that things start to blow up. Just like I did with that director. It could have gone so bad. It could have been so horrible. And the 200 people that were there visiting could have easily been in direct contact with something that could have been such a big blow up, that it would have caused their beautiful moment when they were there, on vacation, enjoying this beautiful scenery of Hawaii, to be completely a different experience. I think that recognizing the energy that was, and the frequency with which we speak, rather than some defensiveness, really makes all the the difference in the world. And it was almost like, and maybe some of you guys have been in class together with us, it's like when we talk about how when you pass somebody and all of a sudden you start to feel that anger come up, and you look at them and you go, I'm not sure why I feel angry right now. And you look and you think, I would totally be friends with that person. I'm not sure why I feel angry. And then so you go up, you connect, and you're like, wonder what's going on. And you realize that your ancestors and their ancestors fought at some point in time, and you're carrying some genetic code on that level. And you're like, oh, I get it. So you quickly go change some things, and the way that you respond and the way that you move, that's actually in a way that you aren't reacting, but responding in a way that your body is now relaxing and taking a deep breath. You don't have anxiety. You no longer have tension. It's not like that confusion that you have before, because you recognize, oh, okay, this is what's happening. And you start to take that control of your own reactions of things that are going on. And that's alignment, because our body really gives us those signals into ways that things that are happening within us that aren't aligning. It's like when you all of a sudden you'll be in a situation and you'll be like clenching your jaw, and you're like, why am I feeling this way? Or you feel like anxiety and your heart's beating really fast and you're not sure what's happening. And you're like, I am not sure why I feel so overwhelmed right now. And you're fidgeting, and those are all clues. They tell you exactly what's going on. Before, if you can't feel your emotions or you're not familiar with the emotion that's going on, it tells you this is what's happening with you. And there easily you can remove yourself from a situation that helps you feel more aligned and in tune with who you really are. And it allows those subconscious, basically rhythms with your virtue frequency to be more in a synchronicity. But if any of those layers that you have within yourself are like off from like old patterns, beliefs, suppressed emotions, any of those occur, you just know that you just take like 5 seconds, breathe, because a breath can make all the difference. Even if it's like 3 breaths, you're like, okay, let me just breathe for a second. And that alone can like recalibrate you, and it can bring you back to that connection. Because sometimes we get pulled out of our connection, just like we talk about in You and Creator all the time. I often go through my days and recognize when I can be on and off, and I'll know exactly when I'm on, because I'll see things like synchronicities that will happen that are for me. You and I may have totally 2 different synchronicities, but I know when I'm on, and I'm able to be in the flow of exactly when I'm in alignment, because I'll see the things that I need. I'll feel the things. Those clues are really obvious feelings for me because my body is not tense. I'm way more relaxed. I'm not moving a million miles a minute. I don't feel like I have to perform. I don't have to do anything that is contrary to the way that I want to be. But if I'm not in alignment, I have this thing that I like to do, and I'm just going to share it with you. And maybe you guys have your own thing, but this is something that works for me. I have this, it's almost like I look like a triangle, and I put whatever is the situation is, let's say it's a problem or something that's off, in the middle of this triangle. And then I put emotions on this side. I'm like, okay, what am I feeling right now? And I really just kind of look at it like, okay, and I name whatever the emotion is that's feeling, because that way I can really understand myself a little bit better. Can I name the emotion? And then on the other side over here, I'm like, what's the perception of what's happening? Is it from my past experiences, or is it really that I'm connected to that creator? And then at the top, it's like choice. Because everybody, we all like choice. We like the choice. Am I choosing from the past, or am I choosing in the present? And I always want to be in the present. Being in the present is such an obvious feeling. It's a feeling where you're not living in the future and you're not living in the past. It's where you just feel so much more at peace and clarity, and you just know everything's going to work out because you're aligned. It's like that connection, that feeling of being in that connection with Creator all the time. And of course, if I'm not in that, I just, time permits, I just change the things really quickly, go up. We can do belief work so quickly these days on my own personal moments and change it. I have this friend, she was here just last night actually. And she has this ribbon, and she was playing with it in her hand. And it was this really pretty blue turquoise ribbon. And I was wondering, I said, what are you doing? She said, oh, when I feel like I'm not centered within myself, she didn't use the word alignment, but that was what she meant. When I'm not centered in myself, and I kind of feel like my nervous system is a little out of alignment, I twiddle this between my fingers, and I kind of center myself. And it gives me comfort within knowing that, and I've done it since I was a kid, she said. And I was like, okay, well, that makes sense. I remember sitting there thinking for a hot minute, like, okay, well, did I ever do something as a kid? No, I didn't really have that. But what I do now is totally something different. And maybe you guys do something that works for you. I've seen people where they take their necklace and they'll kind of hold it, or a crystal, they'll have it in their pockets and they'll rub it, because having something that's tangible, even something that you download, that you can utilize, that makes it so that you can remember to really center yourself in the now. And maybe the download is like, I don't know, it's safe to live in alignment, and I'm safe to be seen in my truth. Would you guys like that download? Do you know how to be safe in your truth and live in alignment? Awesome. And those things can be downloaded, so that when you're feeling them, even this ribbon that she was playing with, it can help you to really anchor in that feeling. For me, it's music and dancing. And I always notice that I'll tap my body. I'll just right here in my heart. I'll like do this movement. I'll like dance, because I just love dancing. It really just kind of centers me. And I realized the reason that I was tapping was because I was bringing that calm, that peace back to that center of my nervous system, recognizing that that's what helps me in a way that I can feel more centered and aligned with myself. And finding something for you is what works. I have clients that find whatever it is that works for them. Of course, we can always use the attunement score that helps them recognize and see the progress that works within them. Of course, I'm going to talk about that because we use it all the time. On our website, we have this attunement score, makes it so that you can see when the progress of what you do is in alignment, and attunement for where you've been to where you're going. Some people like to use journals. Some people like to, use their phone as a way to keep this progress in a way that really shows where they've been and how they're going when they're out of alignment, when they're attunement, and really just what helps them recognize their feelings when they override them, and vice versa. And I think that helping them recognize when they're out of it and when they're in their own alignment really helps them in the most advantageous way. And that's what I think is the best, is when you recognize yourself first and foremost, because we are our most important aspect of everything is ourself. And if that feels really weird, write it down so that you can, of course, work on it later, but ourself first, because then we can guide other people. And we want to guide other people, our clients, our students, to be able to help them to do the same in a way that not only helps them recognize, but to mirror them and restore that alignment without fixing them. Now, there's a difference. Fixing them is like telling them what to do. Guiding them is allowing them choice, them to choose how they wanted their alignment, them how to allow their tone, their language, their emotions, their beliefs to be changed and filtered in a way that they want to. Of course, using theta healing. I love theta healing. It's like the most amazing way ever to be able to change the things they want. But it's like walking up with you and Creator. You're guiding them to where they want to go and having them answer the questions with whatever language they would like to have, and seeing where they are aligned in their pressures. Pressure is number one in understanding alignment. What pressures outside of you are causing problems, and for your clients to know what's pulling them out of themselves all the time. And then guiding them really to like witness, and you, of course, in a way that not only reflects, but co-regulates without rushing. Now, this is a big one, rushing. Sometimes we rush so much, especially our clients. We may be on a time constraint, or we may be like, let's get through this because we want to get on to the next thing. Allowing the time to be whatever is best for them in a way that really allows for them to anchor in that they can do this. Allows you to be that guide, that teacher, that person that really steps in for them to help them be on their journey. And they never forget it, ever, because they're the one that they always remember. They're the ones that say, thank you, that you've helped me become that person that has helped me on my journey to get where I need to be. And that helps them embody it. This is where that they help create that structure, not only for your clients where it's measurable, but you can help them see the transformation. And that helps you not only have like no burnout or minimal burnout for them, but for you. Because if you're guiding them to help make the choices, then you're not doing all the work. You're having them help themselves. And that's a beautiful thing. And when I've witnessed some of my own clients do those things, you can see their epiphany, that aha moment, that it's, and that's not obviously the goal, but you get to see that transformation when they come into it and they're just like, wow, I've reached that place that I wanted to be, and it past the patterns that were holding them and locking them into that place that for so long. And then I'll ask them questions like, well, where did you feel it in your body? Where did you feel the shift? And, because it's at the anchor point where they were constantly going on and with those loops, and they're like, oh, I felt it here. And, a lot of times it'd be like their heart, or, their solar plexus, or whatever it is. And then we gather the data. We use that to help them understand what was going on so that they can move forward in a way that can help them understand the patterns and things that are going on within them. Some of the things that they'll say as clients, and we hear these types of things in you and Creator class, are I have to. We know when they say have to, it's like a limiting choice type thing, but it's also a controlling thing. It's something where they use that way to control themselves in a way that because it helps them stay safe. Or I always end up. That's looping. That's so looping. I mean, like I always have to. That's like when you've been doing something on a pattern for so long and forever. Or that's another one. It's fine. I always, or I'm used to it. That's suppression. That's where they've been pushing something down, like emotions constantly on a way to make them feel in a certain way that they can get past whatever it is they're doing. All these beliefs are just really just things that they're helping you guide them to where they need to go to make that choice to change things. And they're just really phrases and signals that help find those blocks. I mean, and then you get to witness that shift and allowing them to really anchor in and empower all their beliefs, their commands, their virtues, and become the frequency that they've always truly wanted, and that alignment. And then we can ask them like a new directive. It's where you're like, okay, so if you were aligned and it didn't depend on safety and it didn't depend on performance, what would you depend on? And this kind of gives them like a different type of motto or mantra that they can say, almost like a new statement kind of, and that they can like, live by. So maybe like, today my energy aligns with, and then you choose like a virtue, what virtue would you like to work with today? Compassion, truth, peace, grace, whatever. But remember, not all of your clients and students are going to want to go as deep. They always have choice to go wherever it is. They always have choice. And if you have a client that resists mirroring, and mirroring's a good thing, anything, ask yourself, where is this pattern alive in me? Am I trying to fix it? Am I trying to guide it? Am I witnessing it? And is my decision helping them with discomfort, or am I doing it from a place of love, basically? Because a lot of times we can have some things going on with ourselves that we're just picking up on because from what they need. Not always. I mean, of course, remember, it can be nothing to do with you at all. But if any of those happen to come up and those triggered you, write them down. You get a choice. I mean, really, because when you mirror each other in a way that is in alignment, it's like a cohesiveness that your nervous systems line up, and it's almost like a restoration for the both of you. And alignment, it really only works. Well, let's put it this way. Alignment isn't about just leading people to light. It's about helping them be the light, really. Because that's really what they are. They're the light. And when that presence is aligned and you stop performance healing and start living in this connected alignment, that frequency becomes the map that they really, really want to follow. And then they become those people that are aligned, and you're aligned, and you feel completely meshed together in this cohesiveness. And had I really recognized that when I was younger, it would have been so much easier. But I found it now, and I think that's the most beautiful, advantageous thing ever. And I hope you also get to feel more aligned. And I hope this helped you to understand about yourself and with your clients. And I've had such a fantastic time being here today. And thank you, Gaia, for your wonderful words and translation. It's always great to connect with everybody. I hope to see you guys again next time. Thank you, everybody. It's been fun. And I believe I don't even know what time of day it is, but I hope you have a great day. Bye, everyone.